This is the story of Bob and how Ivytalk organized his world. Meet Bob. Bob is a regional manager for a large national retailer. Bob has district managers who report to him, and they have store managers who report to them. Now, for most of his communications with his team, Bob finds that corporate email and company-issued cell phones work fine. But employee communications aren't so tidy for the store managers. Their employees aren't on the corporate server because it's too expensive. Store managers are responsible for collecting and maintaining contact information for their employees. These days, many people have at least one cell phone, at least one email, and perhaps 2 phone numbers. And many of these people change their contact information on a regular basis. When a store manager needs to reach an employee, the manager sits down with a spreadsheet and starts calling and emailing. The manager isn't certain how to reach each person, so he calls and emails every number and address on the list one by one. This isn't efficient, and when it's urgent, he really can't afford the time it takes to do this. Bob is married to Sue. Sue works outside the home, and they have 2 kids. What this means is that Bob and Sue have a lot of contact information to maintain. Teacher information, school administration, contact information for their children's friends' parents, and so on. Bob is also the coach for both his kids' soccer teams. That means Bob and Sue both keep rosters of all the players' parents' contact information. And since Bob never knows when a game will be canceled or a field change is going to occur, Bob needs to make sure he can reach whomever might be bringing the kids, wherever they are, at work, home with the nanny, you name it. This is a pain for Bob and every parent volunteer. And of course, Bob and Sue also maintain contact information for their families, other organizations they belong to, and for their friends. This is pretty representative of most people's lives. We all just figure it's part of living with technology and the fact that there are many ways to reach people in this day and age. Bob is also a leader in his neighborhood CERT group. He's concerned that his group isn't organized enough to be certain that everyone can be contacted when an emergency actually happens. They have phone trees and email lists, but they'd like to improve on these. So what will happen in Bob's world when there actually is an emergency? Bob is like most people. When disaster strikes, he's going to make sure his family is safe. He was always going to make that family communication plan, but he hasn't done it. Tracking down everyone takes time. And he knows he needs to check in with work, and after that he wants to reach out to his CERT team and find out who can help. All of this takes longer and is more confusing than he ever imagined. Bob needs something to organize his world. What if Bob used Ivytalk? Life is much more organized with Ivytalk, and look how smug Bob is. This was very easy to do. First, Bob registered with Ivytalk, and he entered his contact information in the system, his work email, work cell phone, and personal cell phone and home email. Whenever Bob wants to add an additional contact or change one of these, he simply logs in and edits, and every group he has within Ivytalk is automatically updated. Now when that emergency happens, the first thing Bob does is check the box by his family emergency list, which he has set up as a chat group. Everyone can send and everyone receives all the replies. He begins the chat. How is everyone? The messages start to flow quickly, and everyone is updated on everyone's status in real time. Now that Bob has accomplished this, he immediately reaches out to his team at work. Bob has set up several groups and subgroups for his work colleagues, and he can easily send messages and dispatch instructions to his team. Because all of his direct reports have also entered their personal contact information into Ivytalk, his team is responding and rebounding quicker than anyone else. Now Bob has the bandwidth to reach out to his CERT group. As always, imagine several members of his team are ready to help. Using Ivytalk, Bob can check a box by the members who can meet, and he can create an ad hoc work group so they can chat in real time almost like tactical radios. His team is organized and in good communication so they can accomplish their mission of helping people when they need it most. Ivytalk organized Bob's world. Organize your world. Use Ivytalk.